The Lord be with you.
And with
with
your
your
spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, I tell you, make friends for yourselves with dishonest wealth, so that when it fails, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. The person who is trustworthy in very small matters is also trustworthy in great ones. And the person who is dishonest in very small matters is also dishonest in great one. If therefore you are not trustworthy with dishonest wealth, who will trust you with true wealth? If you are not trustworthy with what belongs to another, who will give you what is yours? No servant can serve two masters. You will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and Mammon. The Pharisees, who loved money, heard all these things and sneered at him. And he said to them, you justify yourselves in the sight of others, but God knows your hearts. For what is of human esteem is an abomination in the sight of God. My dear friends, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated.
When I was preparing my homily and reading the Gospel, as I read through the Gospel, what comes into my mind is the imagery of the forthcoming election, when our politicians would once again try to win the esteem of people and then win their votes. And again, the church would always ask, what will be the pamantayan sa ating pagpipili ng ating mga susunod na mga leader? We always try to position ourselves in that manner. What will be the criteria? Ang ganda po ng binasa nating Ebanghelyo, sapagkat swak na swak. No? If they cannot be trustworthy in small matters, they cannot be entrusted with bigger responsibilities. If they cannot be trusted with things that has to do with simple relationship, with simple trust issue, how can they be entrusted with something that has to do with the lives of people? And also towards the end, so when Jesus was talking along this line, the Pharisees, and in the Gospel it was written there, who loved money so much, sneered at him. I am very sure that's also the same thing, the same disposition, the same reaction of many of our politicians when these things are being discussed. Sneering, look who is talking. And then Jesus dropped the bomb. And what is it? God sees the heart. And when he said this is not only for our politician, this is actually for all of us. He sees our heart, what is beating there, what you are aspiring for, what you are praying for, what you are longing for. And he sees whether that heart is authentic or not, whether that pleading, whether that aspiration is something that is really genuine or not. He sees through everything. Kaya nga naman, pag nababasa ko yung mga ganitong bahagi ng scriptures, he sees everything. Sasabi mo, ano pa ba ang maitatago namin sa iyo? Nothing. You read through us, you see our nakedness, you see our follies, you see our shortcomings, you see our failures. Kapag ganoon, sometimes it would drive us to inaction. Ano pa nga ba gagawin ko? Kilala mo naman ako. Ano pa nga ba? Alam mo naman ang kahinaan ko. May puntos pa ba itong mga gagawin ko? You know, as I again reflect, I remember how I was taught to solve mathematical problems. Sa mga nag-aaral po ng mathematics, meron pong tinuro sa amin when I was in elementary and high school that there are two ways to solve yung mga mathematical problems. The short way, the easy way. Meron po kasi talagang mga ganoong mag-isip, automatic, ang bilis, nakita kagad nila once a problem is there, almost automatic, they can provide the answer through a very brief and very short solution. Meron naman po, and I was really happy that and blessed that my teacher in early mathematics and even in high school taught us how to solve the problem the long way. The long way. Growing up, I was not very diligent in looking into the small things. Kaya nga minsan, kapag nagsusolve ako ng mathematical problems, alam ko tama ako pero because of my carelessness, sometimes the decimal point ay mali kung saan ko ilinalagay. I have a teacher who would always point out that at some point, at some part, during the part of the problem solving, tama yung ginagawa ko. Pero pagdating sa dulo, because of carelessness, mali yung sagot sapagkat I did not attend to the details anymore. Why did I remember that? Because a while ago, I asked, what's the point of coming to church? What's the point of aspiring? What's the point of working when God sees our heart, when we are naked before God? I hope and I pray, and I'm certain of this also, that God sees our efforts. Alam ko marami sa inyo ang gumising ng madaling araw para magbiyahe papunta sa Manaoag. Pwede na. But I'm sure, inayos niyo muna yung mga S-Pass ninyo and all the details. Otherwise, pababalikin kayo. Mahigpit dyan sa Binalonan. No? But that effort itself should matter. That effort itself of you coming here, of you exerting effort to do something good, may points yun in the eyes of God. Pagdating sa dulo, maaaring yung buhay natin ay a little bit a mistake on simply the movement of the decimal points. Pero nag-effort Alam niyo po, teacher din po ako. Sa ngayon, ang hirap makita yung punto na yon sa mga tinuturuan. Kahit na sa graduate school, no? Kaya nga I would always tell them, I need to hear your voice. I need you to argue your point. I need to see you hear you reason out. Kahit na baliktad, kahit na mali ang sagot, ba't na nakikita mo na nag-e-effort? Sa mga guro, naiintindihan po ito. Nag-effort Diba? At least man lang present. Nakikinig. Nagtataas ng kamay, nagpa-participate. Plus 5 ka. May puntos. If I'm going to put myself into the place of God, perhaps ganun tayo lahat. May puntos. Maraming pagkakataon sa buhay natin, pumapalpak sa dulo, pumapalpak sa gitna. But I am sure God sees the effort. I am sure God sees that willingness in us to change. In the gospel that we read today, it ends with God sees the heart. And God sees even our aspiration and our willingness to do something good. And that should count. And that will count in the eyes of God.